Which position will rise up tonight's draft board in the FFPC Big Gorilla Tournament? How is the latest around the NFL going to affect tonight's draft order? And which one, if any, of these drafters is going to be the winner of the $1 million FFPC Big Gorilla Grand Prize in 2025? We've got live coverage of the FFPC Big Gorilla tonight as 12 players battle it out to try and win $1 million courtesy of the FFPC this year. We've got a great show for you. Dave Terpoilli is here. I'm Eric Balkman. Stick around. Your high-stakes fantasy football hour starts now.
Under pressure, I've seen greater men than need a lesson.
Broadcast live and heard around the world, you are now watching the most entertaining hour of radio on the planet. Welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by myffpc.com with your hosts Eric Balkman and Farrell Elliott. The High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour is your home for analysis from the best players in the world. And now, because no one else was available, here are Eric Balkman and Farrell Elliott.
Solace in the scripture, are we not all our father's sons? I became a man, nobody ever told me what a man was.
Thank you, Rob. Greetings and salutations to all of you Balkaholics and Farelliacs tuning in. Welcome to the latest episode of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by myffpc.com. I'm your slightly above average host, Eric Balkman. My co-host is Dave Terpoilli, who you can follow on the X tonight at Dave Terp, sitting in for Farrell Elliott, who has the night off. Coming up on tonight's show, we have live coverage of the FFPC Big Gorilla Draft tonight. 12 players are going to be battling it out to try and determine which one of them is going to win $1 million this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to connect with us on X, please do so at HSFF at Eric Balkman, at Dave Terp. Always learn more about the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship at kffsc.com. You can post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/HSFF. You can email the show at highstakesfantasyfootball@gmail.com as well. If you have any questions for us, send them in now. Now is the time to send them. We'll get to all the chat room questions, all the tweets, and all the emails in the fantasy feedback segment later on in the show. Thanks to our audio engineer and my best friend Bryce, and of course, our producer and mutual friend Rob. If you are paying attention to the FFPC, or if you're not, I'm going to tell you this right now. The FFPC Big Gorilla Tournament is what we're covering tonight. $1 million grand prize is at stake. If you want to enter and compete against these guys, you can do so. $350 is going to get you in. You're going to get a $50 discount after every third team that you enter. Draft's already running right now, including the 7 Bananas promo, which we've awarded over 24 free FFPC Best Ball Tournament teams and 3 free FFPC main event teams. If you keep getting that 7 pick multiple times in a row in the FFPC Big Gorilla, we're going to continue to give you free teams, including but not limited to what I already said, the $10,000 High Society draft. You're going to get that comped. And a free jungle safari for 4 if you get it 5 times in a row. That's at myffpc.com. Our flagship event is going on myffpc.com. That is our main event, $1 million grand prize there, $6 million plus prize pool. You have slow drafts and live drafts going on right now at myffpc.com. You play the FFPC Superflex and Classic Best Ball tournaments right now. A $300,000 grand prize in the Classic tournament with a $100,000 grand prize runner-up place. That's never something we've offered before. We're offering it this year. And then a $100,000 grand prize to the $35 entry Superflex Best Ball tourney. Drafts going on 30-second, 60-second, 2-hour, and 6-hour clocks. And Dynasty startups will go from $100 all the way up to $5,000. Over the last 15 years, we've had 2,000 plus leagues. None have ever folded in 15 years. myffpc.com. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, and get notified each and every time we go live, which will be next Thursday. More to come on that later on in the show. I want to bring in tonight's fill-in co-host. You're going to see a lot of them during Pros versus Joes. You saw a lot of them on Wednesday night with FFPC live best ball draft coverage with Aiden LaCourie and, of course, Brian Drake from Fantasy Points, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. He's with us again tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You follow him on Twitter at Dave Terp. He is Dave Terpoilli. Dave, good evening and welcome. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I missed you.
I missed you too. I'm missing
It's been a minute.
tonight. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to have you on. I can't wait. In a couple of weeks, you and I and Farrell will be cranking out a lot of Pros versus Joes drafts.
Yes, we will be.
coming up.
Farrell getting his nails done tonight or something?
Farrell is off tonight. I didn't ask him what he was doing, but he's got a lot of Farrell always has a lot of pokers in the fire. So I don't ask him.
Always does.
I can't. He's like, I can't. Balky, I can't make it tonight, but you can
He's
get
a very
Dave
important
Terp
person.
on. Yeah, he is a VIP. But we get you on tonight. We also get this draft board on tonight. I'm going to bring it up right now. Again, this is we have
moving.
It is moving. It is moving fast. We have 12 teams competing for $1 million grand prize. We're already through the first round tonight. I'm going to bring it up right now, Terp, and tell everybody who is drafting in this league tonight. From the number 1 spot, we have Gary Broad's Nikki Palmer 2 taking Jamar Chase at the 101. We have Love My Aubrey. That is Frank Imbornoni's squad. He takes Justin Jefferson at the 102. Bijan Robinson is the selection for NYJ74. That's Thomas O'Brien's team at the 103. Thomas O'Brien, you might remember, drafted on these here airwaves on June 16th for the FFPC Big Gorilla. So he is the only drafter we have that was in both of these drafts, the June 16th one. And then obviously tonight he takes Bijan Robinson at 103. The 104 pick is Saquon Barkley to Michael Melberg and Wayne Newbert. If Michael Melberg sounds familiar, it's because he is the defending champ of the Fantasy Pros Championship, now the Big Gorilla Championship. He is drafting in the cleanup spot tonight. So, and we might hear from him tonight too, which is really good. To find out how he spent that $1 million and how he's trying to win $1 million again this year. Jameer Gibbs goes to Steven Yergalos, Fantasy Sopranos at the 105 tonight, who is making some T-shirts that we will more than likely be distributing in Las Vegas at Paris Casino this year for the HSFF fans. He is drafting at 105. He takes Jameer Gibbs. CeeDee Lamb off the board to Scoops on Beverly. AJ Petco ends up taking CeeDee Lamb there tonight at the 106. The Hooterville Arnolds. We have Bob Hogan drafting tonight. Longtime FFPC player, longtime KFFSC player. He is drafting in the 7th spot. He ends up going with Brock Bowers, the first tight end off the board tonight in this tight end premium format. Demetrios Gikas ends up going with Malik Neighbors at the 108, followed by Puka Nakua to Alex Palazzo's Rhinos. The Minnows right after the Rhinos. That's Jeffrey Osborne's team. He takes Christian McCaffrey at the 110. Devon Achane, who I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit here, Terp. Devon Achane goes to David Krupski and Ken Hillenbrand, at the 111 tonight. And Amon-Ra St. Brown to Tom Smith to round up the first round tonight. Tom Smith, a longtime FFPC player and KFFSC player. Let's flip it all the way back to 102. You had Frank Imbornoni having a decision here, Terp, between Bijan Robinson and Justin Jefferson. He goes with Jefferson. I know Frank drafts a lot of teams. Maybe this was a correlation of like, hey, I already got a lot of Robinson. I don't have enough Jefferson. I'm going to go with Jefferson here. What do you make of the pick here with Jefferson over Bijan Robinson?
I see no issue with it whatsoever. I like the pick. To me, it would be Robinson, but if I was drafting one team, I probably would take Robinson. But he drafts a ton of teams, so you got to mix up your exposure, especially early on. Getting the guys like Jefferson, Robinson, Barkley, Lamb, Gibbs, if you're a fan, Bowers, you got to put in there, and just try to mix up the exposure a little bit because you don't want to get burned. Fading people in the first round, if you're doing one team, get your guy. But if you're not, these guys are all here for a reason. Yeah, they could get hurt, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but you don't want to get burned fading a guy like Saquon Barkley, because if he does what he did last year, you're in trouble for just totally fading him because the guys around him probably aren't going to put up the same numbers, and you're going to be left in a big world of hurt.
So, Terp, let me ask you this too. Brock Bowers tonight falls to the 107. How high would you consider drafting him in an FFPC draft? Does he fall into the conversation at 102 or 103, or are you fading him a little bit?
Not for me. I mean, I probably would fade him just a little bit. I mean, that doesn't mean I won't be taking him. I had a best ball draft last week, and I took him 106, I think it was. So not a fade type of situation, but I just like some players just a little bit better than him. I think tight end is extremely deep. I think quarterback's extremely deep. I think there's a lot of guys that you can get a little later that can offset Bowers a little bit. I mean, obviously Bowers and McBride, you can argue that back and forth who the top tight end is. That should be drafted, but I like where McBride's going just a little bit more than Bowers. I think the guy, when you're talking about Bowers, I'm going to say I'm going to fade him, but where he's being drafted, just a little bit longer. Like if he moves down a little bit more, which he won't, I'll have more. So I'll probably be even with the field, but nothing crazy. There's just a little bit, less to worry about when it comes to McBride, in my opinion.
So the other thing I want to talk about here in the first round, you had a teammate taking, that's Dimitrios Gikas. He ends up going with Malik Neighbors over Puka Nacua. In all my heart, I would fall in with Gikas on this, taking Neighbors over Nacua. However, Terp, in one draft I just did in the KFFSC, I took Nacua over Neighbors. Do you have a strong pull, Neighbors versus Nacua, in the mid to late first round?
It's a lean toward Neighbors, not, by a ton in any matter. I'll have both. But the thing that scares me about Puka is Devontae Adams on the other side. He's no slouch. Obviously, you saw even with, a dusty Aaron Rodgers last year, he still, got there. So where Devontae Adams is being drafted, I much prefer than where Puka's being drafted. So to me, it's just Neighbors. I don't see a world where Neighbors doesn't get every target he wants. Whether it's from Russell Wilson, whether it's from Winston, who I pray it's from, or the rookie Jackson Dart. Dable's coaching for his job, and there's nobody that's anywhere close to Malik Neighbors on that field. So to me, he should get every manufactured target you can get, and he is a top talent in this league. So Neighbors for me over Puka.
Is there anything with Nacua as far as like we know how good he can be when he's right, but the way he plays the game, and we've seen how he plays the game with no respect to his body whatsoever, right? And I think that gives you a pause. But you know how high the ceiling could be with Nacua.
The ceiling's the ceiling's a monster. I mean, you've seen Puka have those games that just separate you. Whether it's a head-to-head game or you're looking at the sprint at the end of the season. He's definitely a guy that has the ability to put up that monster score that everybody's looking for. But he there's no Devontae Adams. There wasn't no Devontae Adams there. And, Kyron Williams, is whether you like him or not, he's going to get a ton of carries. And, they obviously drafted Ferguson, who they like a lot, who might not, get there right away. But, as the season goes on, if he continues to progress, they have other guys outside of Puka this day. So I'm not sitting here, but in the first round, if I'm going to have to put a fade word on somebody, Puka would be probably my top 3.
Yeah, we have the Dizzle chiming in on YouTube right now.
Love a good Dizzle tweet.
Neighbors' ceiling is unknown, and it's true. I mean, we saw what he did last year with lack of good quarterback play. He's going to get Russell Wilson. Fingers crossed, Jameis Winston, and then
everybody wants Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston's the quarterback, Neighbors should be probably going up there as wide receiver 2.
The second round is complete. So is the third. I want to take us through the second round here. Some standout picks here. Tom Smith, the Yum Yums, takes Brian Thomas at the 201. Ashton Genty has fallen into sort of this 1-2 turn pick right now, Terp. He goes right now to Team 11. That's Krupski and Hillenbrand here as they pair him with Devon Achane, the second tight end off the board to the Minnows. At the 203, Trey McBride. You're looking at Derrick Henry, Drake London, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins. Rashi Rice ascending all the way up to the 208 tonight to Steven Ergalo's team, the Fantasy Sopranos. You're looking.
He must have saw that Scott Barrett tweet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What was that, by the way? So you had David Chow chiming in saying
I'm 90% sure it was the actual person in that video was Elijah Moore.
Oh, okay. So
what I saw, I didn't look at it that hard, but based off some of the comments and then a couple of things I saw on Twitter, it was not Rashi Rice.
Okay, all right. Got it. All right, so that's good.
People like that. Scott Barrett was on our show a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Extremely smart guy and, extremely funny as it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay. So there you go. There you have it there. And then the remainder of the second round, George Kittle. And then you're looking at Bucky Irving and then Jonathan Taylor to Team 1 here. To round out round 2. So let me ask you about a few players in this round here, Terp, and we'll get into our first guest coming up in a little bit here tonight. Derrick Henry tonight at the 204. I have been fading Derrick Henry for years, and I've always paid the price for it. Am I going to pay the price for fading Derrick Henry again in 2025?
You might, but I'm going to join you, and I'm going to fade him too. I just one of these years it's going to happen. I mean, it's hard because the Ravens are an extremely good team. They should have a lot of positive game scripts, which means Derrick Henry's going to get a ton of work later in the game just to, kill the clock or whatever. He has nobody behind him that you really worry about. Even Keaton Mitchell, you don't know. Justice Hill, you know what he is. So, Lamar Jackson obviously going to steal some, but to me, I'll just take some of those receivers. I'll take Devon Achane, I just Trey McBride, obviously. I'll take all those guys over him and just, build whether it's my running back 2, if I started, Bijan, Barkley, Gibbs, McCaffrey, or Achane, and then just fill the running back position somewhere else because, yeah, he has 20 touchdown upside. He does. But, he's got to fall off the cliff here the way he runs sooner rather than later. So I'm going to make the bet. I'll have, 2-3%, all things considered, just to have some protection, but I'm probably out on him too. I'm going to join you on that train.
What do you make of Rashee Rice here, Terp? A guy who's really been rising up draft boards. He goes to Steven Ergalos tonight to pair with Jahmyr Gibbs. I kind of like the idea here. It sounds like Rashee Rice's suspension is not going to happen until 2026. We know how good he was until he had that knee injury last year. But we also understand paying a premium for him as well. Are we paying too much what Steven Ergalos paid tonight at the 208? Or is that still a good value to you? Is that still a sticker price that Dave Terpoilli is willing to pay in 2025?
It worries me. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not a Rice guy. I have plenty of Rice early in drafts. Got him at a little bit better price than he's going now. I don't see there being any way that he doesn't get moved up even more. Like, let's just say all things are positive and he's starting, week 1, 100%. Like, yeah, you see all these videos and stuff, but like, let's just say all the positive, he's not getting suspended, none of that stuff. By the time we draft it at Paris in September, I could see him getting close to that 1-2 turn.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what the ceiling could be early last year. He was on, early on the best fantasy pick, right there with Chris Godwin early on. And then they both had, real bad injuries and things just kind of hit the wall. But it's hard not to like the situation. I'm buying the Chiefs this year. I'm buying the passing game. I'm buying, Rice, Worthy, Mahomes, not Kelsey, not Hollywood Brown, especially in the gorilla format. But I see why he's being drafted. But you also have to put in your brain that if you're drafting a ton of teams, a lot of teams got Rashee Rice way better price.
Yeah.
And now, by the time he's late July, early August, and the positive stuff keeps coming, he's going to keep rising. So you got to weigh that out. If you're a one-person draft, hey, take him. Go ahead. But when you're in a ton of leagues, you'll mix in some exposure, but it's tricky because his price is only going to get higher. He's going to start going over A.J. Brown. He's going to start going over Drake London, and maybe getting into territory where he's just way too expensive. He's probably expensive for me right now, but I'll still have him. I'll still take him because I love the talent.
Terp, I want to welcome in our first guest of the night, longtime FFPC, KFFSC players. They are drafting tonight from the 7 spot. The co-owners of the Hooterville Arnolds franchise tonight, Bob Hogan, and of course his grandson Hudson, who is still awake. I want to get him before Hudson had to go to bed tonight. Bob and Hudson, welcome in, guys. How we doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. We just did an underdog draft, and we're working on our 6-hour slow drafts with KFFC. So we've been drafting like crazy tonight.
6-hour slow drafts. God bless you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm doing the same thing, Terp. I love it.
Bless you fan. Too.
Hudson, well, Hudson, what's your day been like drafting with Grandpa here?
It's been pretty good.
You're loving every minute of it, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, as I look at your team, as you just took Cortland Sutton, let's talk about him first. Rainbow start for you guys, tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback. You guys get Sutton here in the 5th round at the 507. Talk a little bit about what you think Sutton's fantasy prospects is going to be in year 2 of Bo Nix, year 2 of Sean Payton, and year 2 of, quite frankly, not having a whole lot of other receivers threatening him for targets. I like this pick for you guys, Bob.
Yeah, Sutton did a lot of good for me last year and kind of slowed down toward the end. But I had him on several teams. Of course, I got him a lot later last year than getting him this year. But he is someone that I have liked for a long time. Now, Hudson really likes the Philadelphia stack that we got there. And you'll notice we jumped up and took Hurts ahead of Jaden Daniels.
I approve.
Well, and that's the thing. I guess I have to ask you, Bob, and Hudson, you can weigh in on this too. If you did not get A.J. Brown in the second round, would you have still taken Jalen Hurts there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, if we didn't get AJ Brown, I don't think we would have taken Hurts. No.
Would you have taken Daniels there, or a different position?
I don't really. I might have taken Daniels. I don't really know.
You're a smart kid.
Yeah.
One thing he talked about doing was picking up Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith instead of if we didn't get Brown. But we had the option of taking Nico, which kind of would have been my choice. Mm-hmm. But Hudson likes AJ and Jalen, so we went with his choices. And you never know this time of year.
You don't. But Hudson, if I can, because I know people will analyze this. Why do you like AJ Brown? And I guess the easy response is, well, Philadelphia can't run as much as they did last year. They're going to have to throw more. Is that why you like Brown over Collins, or is there a different rubric that you're looking at here? Why AJ Brown is the better pick over Nico Collins in 2025?
I like Jalen Hurts more than Nico Collins in 2025 because AJ Brown, I feel like he gets a lot of catches.
Yes.
Where
he sure
Nico
does.
Collins, last year, he had to share the ball a lot with Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he might be a little bit better this year, I think, for fantasy. But I still like AJ more than
Brown.
Nico. Yeah.
Well, so does Terp.
Smart kid.
Terp is a big AJ Brown fan, so he is going to support that 100%. Bob, let's talk about Amari and Hampton, the pick that you made at the 307 tonight. I keep hearing, from a lot of pundits out there that Hampton's going to be the guy that you want in your team because he might start off slow with Najee Harris there. But do you believe that Hampton's going to be the guy that's going to be carrying the water for the Chargers at the end of the season?
Well, I think Hampton has two good eyes right now, and I'm not sure that Najee actually has two eyes that work.
Good point. Excellent point.
So
a lot of rumors going out there.
That might help Hampton early in the season. And what I was telling Hudson, we just drafted him in underdog, is that if Hampton gets the early go and he does well, he could just run with it all year. We also just took Judkins, so we are deeply involved in rookie running backs.
So to put a button on the Chargers conversation, if that happens, with Hampton, where if he takes over sooner rather than later, it's not like the Chargers gave up all this cash to get Najee Harris. They signed him early in free agency, but it's not a ton of financial investment that they made in him. So it's easy for Harris to sort of assume a 1B or, quite frankly, a backup role if it happens. The Judkins pick, Bob, I think is more interesting here because we heard reports that Jerome Ford might be the starter to open the season. Obviously, they double tapped the position in the draft, getting Dylan Sampson as well as Quinshon Judkins. You guys are Judkins believers at the 606. Can you share some insight on why you think Judkins was the right pick for your number 2 running back on this squad?
Everything I hear is that Jerome Ford's all of his analytics from last year were worse than his success rate for fantasy, and that he really is just not a superstar, and Judkins very well could be. I'm not overly concerned about Dylan Sampson, other than them picking Sampson as well as Judkins tells me that Cleveland isn't all that sold on Jerome Ford either. Mm-hmm. The only thing I will say is I've got Ford on a couple of my 6 dynasty teams, so I wouldn't mind too much if he comes through.
Hudson, you're getting a lot of love. I keep throwing up all the comments here on the YouTube. Alex P. Keaton, Joe King, Adam Hahn, Dave Chiodo, all chiming in on just loving your analysis here tonight, guys. I'm gonna leave you with this. You're coming up here at the let's see, what pick is this? This is going to be the 707. And I'll have you make this pick live on the air. We're at the 7:03 right now. I think we can get there for you. You're looking at Hampton and Judkins as your two running backs. Here's the great thing, the 1Z positions. You already have a quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You already have Brock Bowers at the 107, which I thought was good value here. And you have A.J. Brown and Cortland Sutton. Hudson, I'll throw this question to you. When you sat down with your grandpa here and try to figure out this draft, did you have a set strategy going in, or are you kind of taking this pick by pick and seeing what the other guys were doing in this draft?
I was kind of taking it more pick by pick to see what other guys were doing in this draft. Yeah.
And when you look at what they have been doing here, you obviously have left yourself a lot of flexibility here. You could go running back. You could go receiver. You could, quite frankly, go tight end if you wanted. I don't know if that's what you guys are going to do. I don't think you'll go quarterback here. But as you're in the hole here and looking at the 707, Hudson, do you have a player or a position in mind that you think you want to try to shift your grandpa into believing like, hey, this is the player we need here coming up?
I'm thinking we're going to probably need either Chris Godwin or Jordan Addison.
Godwin or Addison here. So he's looking at receiver, Bob. Do you concur here? Because you can, honestly, we're at the 706. You guys are going to have the opportunity to draft both of these guys or at least one of these guys. Is that what you're looking at here at the 707, grabbing a third receiver in the 7th round?
Yeah, I think so. Pacheco would be the other option as a possibility, and we are on now. But I think we'll go with Addison. I'm a little surprised Hudson didn't say Andrews, because being where we're from by Louisville, he's a big Lamar fan.
Okay. Yes. Well, you're on the clock. You got 45 seconds. All these guys are available. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Pacheco, Chris Godwin. You guys end up going.
You made the right pick.
With Jordan Addison. Terp approves, Bob. Why was Addison the right pick here for you?
Well, I hate picking a wide receiver 2 as a starter in fantasy, but, he's wide receiver 2 behind the best receiver of this generation. And so that he's really a 1A, even though Jefferson is awesome. And last year he showed that he could come through.
Mm-hmm.
A little concerned about whether J.J. McCarthy will actually be an NFL quarterback. You never know till you see a guy play. But they had enough confidence in him. They let Darnold walk. So, Minnesota's offense is going to be steamrolling this year. And I think they'll be throwing the ball even more with Jones getting a year older.
You love to see it. A grandfather and grandson going for $1 million in the FFPC Big
Nothing
Gorilla
better.
Live on
don't tell
YouTube.
him that. I told him it was 5,000 and he'd get half.
All right. Well, listen, $1 million,
kid.
Hudson, I may have misspoke. But know this, that you will have all the Candy Suckers, comic books, and DVDs, if the kids still watch DVDs nowadays, that you want, if you guys are able to pull this
Nobody
out.
watches DVDs anymore. Come on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That old.
Yeah, Netflix subscriptions or
Netflix,
Hulu,
thank you.
whatever it is. Guys, thanks so much. This was a treat having both of you guys on. Bob and Hudson Hogan hanging out with us tonight. Good luck the rest of the way. Good luck in all your drafts. And Bob,
good luck, guys.
I promise you, we will hook up on a dynasty trade in KFFSC one of these days. There's got to be a pairing out there. We'll figure it out. Thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast tonight, for sure.
Hudson will probably see you in Louisville because the casino is letting young people in again.
Fantastic. Hudson, I'll see you in next month, I guess. I'll see you out in Louisville for the KFFSC, man.
Yep, see ya.
All right, you got it. That is Bob and Hudson Hogan.
Love that.
Hudson, I'm sure will be buying me my first bourbon when I'm in Louisville drafting.
You never know.
The end of August. You never know.
Or maybe your last bourbon. You never
or
know.
my last bourbon. Yeah. It's wild. It's going to be a fun time out in the KFFSC. And the Dizzle chiming in on YouTube wants to know if Hudson will play video poker with him at the KFFSC coming up in in Kentucky, in Louisville. At the end of the month. It's going to be fun.
With that picture he has up there, nobody's going to play anything with him.
You're probably right. Man. You're probably right. And like all the comments were really positive on Hudson. I think he handled himself very well on the YouTube broadcast.
Smart
tonight.
kid.
Terp, much as I'd love to go through the last couple of rounds, I don't want to keep our next guest waiting. And the reason why is because he is not only the defending champion of his league in this tournament, he is the defending champion of the $1 million grand prize that was awarded last year in the Fantasy Pros Championship. Obviously, it's the big gorilla this year. He is drafting to go back-to-back, something that's only been done once before in the history of this tournament by Abib Agbatova. And I'm really rooting for this guy hard, not only because he's a great guy, but because he hails and he is living literally minutes away from where I'm broadcasting right now in Appleton, Wisconsin. Please welcome in the 2024 Fantasy Pros Championship $1 million grand prize winner, Mr. Mike Melberg. Mike, welcome back onto the show. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. How has that $1 million been spending for you?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good.
What's up?
Good. Yeah, we just my daughter graduated from Platteville as a 5-year engineer degree, so we paid that off and just doing some stuff around the house and just playing a lot of fantasy football right now.
You're good for you. Yeah. Adam Hahn wants to know right now, are you in this draft? Yes, you are drafting from the 4 spot. Mocker and Boob 14 here. You're coming up on your 8th round pick. Again, as we look through the first 7 rounds, you already have your elite quarterback, your elite tight end, a couple of receivers, good running backfield here. A well-balanced team, Mike. How do you feel about this squad thus far into this draft?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's going pretty good for so far. Yep.
Now, Mike, the other thing Dizzle wants to know is, are you coming to Vegas this year? I know you were there last year. Are you planning to come to Paris again this year?
Yeah, we'll be there. Our flight lands Thursday, hopefully, and we'll be there for the watch party, and then we have a draft Saturday afternoon.
Perfect. Love to see it, and maybe you guys win the $1 million in the FFPC main event. We're talking, of course, with Mike Melberg, who is teaming up with Wayne Newbert for this draft tonight. You guys are on deck here. I think one of the greatest things about these drafts, if you stay balanced, you can catch value when it falls to you. I take that back. You're not on deck. You're in the hole right now. You've added Saquon Barkley, Kyron Williams, and Caleb Johnson to your backfield. Out wide, you have Ladd McConkey and Xavier Worthy. You also have Jaden Daniels as your signal caller. The tight end 7 tonight ends up being Evan Engram. He's your starting tight end. You're on deck here. Mike, can you give the listeners and the viewers a little bit of a taste of what you're thinking here in the 8th round, this coming from the $1 million champ in 2024?
Let's see. I'd probably go receiver or running back here. I'm thinking probably receiver.
With the FFPC,
what he does here. So.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes Javonte Williams. Steven Urgalos, the Fantasy Sopranos, takes the 34th running back off the board, Javonte Williams tonight. And you act quickly, Mike. No hesitation. Why was it Stephon Diggs? Why did you believe in him here as your 8th round pick?
I just like Drake May from New England, and with Diggs being the number 1 receiver there, I think it's a no-brainer in the 8th round. So
we have seen a lot of video and footage about Stephon Diggs really moving around quite well for a guy who's coming off a torn ACL, much more so than Chris Godwin, for what that's worth too. And we can talk about Chris Godwin later. But you have Stephon Diggs as your number 3 receiver here. This is a guy that could scoop up a lot of targets, and obviously a guy that you don't even have to start every single week because of how the FFPC starting lineup works. You only have to start 2 receivers. Stephon Diggs could just be a plug and play for you, which I think is great so far. Who's your favorite draft pick so far through 8 rounds, Mike? If you look at your entire roster, who was the one guy you look at, you're like, man, I'm so glad we got him where we got him?
I think Jaden Daniels, when he fell to the 4th round, normally he doesn't fall that far. I like him as probably a number 1 this year as far as quarterback goes. So, I like him. And let's see here.
You are on the clock right now too, and I'll stump for time here as you figure out who you and Wayne Newbert are going to be taking at the 9:04 tonight. Again, a very balanced squad: 3 receivers, 3 running backs, quarterback, tight end. You went back to the wide receiver well, Mike. Josh Downs at the 9:04, a player I happen to like this year as well. Why do you like him here?
I think Daniel Jones will be the quarterback, so I like him over Anthony Richardson as far as throwing the ball. So I like Josh Downs in the 9th round. So
I love the fact that you're getting him as your wide receiver 4 in the 9th round, where you can play matchups. If Richardson ends up being the starter certain weeks, he's an easy bench, and you have running backs to plug and play there. You obviously have Evan Ingram as well at tight end, so that part is taken care of. Listen, man, this is a treat reconvening. I know we talked in January. So glad to have you back on the show. Congratulations to your daughter graduating from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I know some of the money helped her put her through college there.
Oh, yeah.
I know you had a lot of other stuff that you had going on with the $1 million. Cannot wait to see you in Las Vegas again. And listen, I might see you around town here in Appleton. You never know. Mike Melberg, the 2024 Fantasy Pros Championship champion, the $1 million grand prize winner. I appreciate you coming on tonight, Mike. Thanks so much.
Good luck, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Thanks.
That is Mike Melberg, ladies and gentlemen. Always a good dude to talk to. Midwest nice, Terp, as we're joined by Appleton royalty on the show.
You gotta love your friends in Packers country.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Absolutely love it that Mike was able to make some time tonight, drafting out of the 4 spot. What do you make of the Josh Downs pick? I really like it here. He talked a little bit about, and I think that's what we're leaning towards. Daniel Jones is probably going to be the starter for Indianapolis, at least to start the season. I'm actually, Pittman went 2 picks before Downs. I'm totally on Pittman and Downs this year, both of them.
It's scary because if you just rewind what you just said right there, Pittman and Downs are tied to Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the fantasy world is banking on Daniel Jones this year to unlock all the Colts. If Anthony Richardson's the quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, nobody wants them.
Right.
Downs, Pittman, all those guys, nobody wants them if Anthony Richardson's the quarterback. But if Daniel Jones is the quarterback, everything changes. So it's scary to even put those words out there in the world, but it's the truth. Like Daniel Jones unlocks these guys. If he figures it out a little bit, all these guys could be unlocked to where they're way, way great values. But
so go ahead.
It's still
Keep
Daniel
going.
Jones.
I think the other thing too here is that we have to keep in mind, and I'm going to bring it up here as well. Did I have Todd Stockard right now on YouTube? Isn't there too much competition in Indy with Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Donna Mitchell, and Tyler Warren? So he brings up a good point here, Terp.
I don't think so for one's perspective. I'm just going to interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Michael Pittman is always going to be out there. The question with the other, like Tyler Warren, probably always going to be out there. Capital, all that stuff. It might take a little bit. He's a quality tight end. He was a great tight end at Penn State. The other guys are what you question. Don't forget Alec Pierce, who puts up numbers very quietly, but still has those like pop games here and there. Mm-hmm. Not really for this type of league, but for a best ball type of format, Alec Pierce is a little bit more, interesting. Mitchell, who is like kind of stuck in the middle, like, is Daniel Jones ever going to unlock Mitchell? I don't think so. I think Downs is a better player. But you also have to worry about Downs because is he definitely going to play every snap? Is he more of a slot guy? Like, that's where the question comes in. Like, are they going to play a lot of 2 tight end? Like, there's a lot of questions when it comes to everybody, to me, except for Michael Pittman. But where these guys are being drafted, I'm fine with Downs. I like Pittman better, though. So here and Terp,
I wish Farrell was on with you tonight because you guys would have found common ground on Michael Pittman tonight. Couple of things.
It's a once in a lifetime thing. We actually agree on something.
Well, Pros versus Joes, we'll definitely bring it up. We will definitely bring it up.
I can't wait. I can't wait. When is that again?
So Pros versus Joes is gonna kick off here pretty quick. We're gonna have I'm bringing up the dates right now on this, but we're like 2 weeks away from Pros. I should say a little bit more than 2 weeks away. So we're going to have live drafts on the HSFF Hour and FFPC YouTube channel, July 20th, July 21st, July 22nd, and then we're going to have 3 more, July 27th, July 28th, and July 29th. So not next week, but the week after. You're going to have Terp, you're going to have Farrell, you're going to have me, and a cavalcade of guests coming up. That'll be on the HSFF Hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. Regarding the Colts here, and I think that Dizzle commented on this, Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, not great. I am kind of out on those guys, both of them. regardless of who the quarterback is. I think it comes down to Pittman and Downs, because I think both these guys can be successful no matter who the Colts quarterback is this year. And you're looking at both these guys going in the 9th round. Michael Pittman, we forget, because last year he was playing with a broken back, Terp. And when you play with a broken back, your numbers are not going to be great, especially when you have another guy like Josh Downs who can really electrify an offense, which is, I wouldn't say he electrified it last year, but he has that potential to do it. I think we forget about Pittman. I'm fine with both these guys in the 9th round. I will say that I think people are a little too gung-ho on Downs for the most part this year, and probably should be taking a longer look at Pittman. But I think both of these guys can play. I don't think Anthony Richardson is the quarterback in week 1. Not sure he's ever going to be the quarterback in 2025. I think he will be at some point, but I don't know when that is, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen. So I'm definitely down.
I think Anthony Richardson is pretty much somebody that you want to avoid. I mean, obviously, from a quarterback perspective, like the rushing ability, that's all we really like, but he can't throw the football. And
right.
If he's the quarterback, Pittman, Downs, Mitchell, Warren, Pierce, and anybody else you want to throw out there, especially Jonathan Taylor, I don't like it. Jonathan Taylor with Daniel Jones, I like a lot more, because it should be more of a balanced attack. Daniel Jones he's a good rushing. He has the rushing ability, but he's not going to take the Jonathan Taylor, like, goal line touches and stuff like that. So right. To me, it's, stay away from Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, and I'll just touch on Tyler Warren too. I think the track record of tight ends that are drafted as high as he was this year, even as a rookie, I think that there is a lot to like about Tyler Warren. So I'm definitely fine, and I've drafted Tyler Warren in a few spots already. I'm fine with Warren. I'm fine with Pittman. I'm fine with Downs. I'm going elsewhere in regards to Pierce and Mitchell.
I talked about earlier the deep tight end position: Warren, Kraft, Kincaid, Ferguson, Andrews, where he's being drafted, like Njoku, Ingram. I mean, all those guys, like, they make a ton of sense. Like, if you're not going to get one of the top, like, 2 or 3 or 4 guys that you like.
Throw in Kelsey there too, Terp.
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay, why? Okay, this is an interesting conversation. So you're fine with Ingram, Kraft, and Njoku or whatever, but Kelsey, tonight he goes to the Rhinos. That's Alex Palazzo's team at the 604. You're just out on Kelsey, period? I still think there's something.
I'm not out, but, like, I mean, like, what is he in the rankings of where he's going to get targets? He's clearly older. He's clearly a little bit dustier after you saw last year. Is Andy Reid going to get him the ball more than Rashee Rice? No. Xavier Worthy? No.
I don't know about that.
But everybody hates Xavier Worthy this year.
Not everybody.
Rashee Rice.
Not everybody. Everybody loves Rashee Rice. That's for sure.
Everybody loves Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is that guy that's That's why I said earlier, I'm worried. Just because when everybody loves somebody, it usually never works out. Everybody, if you say Rice versus Worthy, all things considered, everybody hates Worthy. But Worthy, if they turn to a team that's going to throw the ball more, Worthy should get some manufacturing touch. He has that game-breaking ability. Yeah. He has that 30 to 40 point upside. I'm not sitting here saying I'm taking Worthy over Rice, but I think it's closer than people are, like, giving it out to. And Kelsey in the 6th round, to me, look at the guys he's getting drafted around. Who are you taking him over? James Conner? No. Ridley? No.
I would hold on. You say that. I'm just saying, depending upon my team build,
structure is very important. Very important.
So I will just say this: like, in regards to Kelsey versus Connor versus Ridley, yes, I can see I can see myself taking Connor and Ridley over it. But I'm not saying in every build, right? I could still see myself taking Kelsey over those guys. Your point is
very important.
Your point is made, and I think it's important to understand that, Kelsey in a down year last year. Like, we had red flags going up. We had alarms going up when Rashee Rice was basically hurt the entire year, right? Hollywood Brown, who we haven't talked about, was basically hurt the entire year last year.
And Xavier Worthy was pretty much worthless.
Well, no, Xavier Worthy, what's interesting about me, and I feel bad about this because I have him on like 2 dynasty teams, maybe only 1 now that I think about it. And it was just a FOMO pick. But what he showed me last year when he was forced into being much more than a lid lifter much more than a field stretcher, he performed without Rice and with Kelsey, being down last year. Like I was really impressed with Xavier Worthy. So for me this year, I have my expectations for Worthy and what he's able to do in this offense. They're skyrocketed, excuse me, from what they were last year, Terp. I just think it's wheels up for this Chiefs offense in general. They can do a lot to different teams this year, whether they want to attack them with the run game, whether they want to attack them to the pass. I think their offensive line is a little bit better this year, especially at left tackle if Josh Simmons wins that job. I am a fan of the Chiefs offense this year, and Patrick Mahomes too, who fell tonight. Where did Mahomes go? At the 702 is quarterback 6 to Love My Aubrey. That's Frankie Bornone's team, who grabs him as a starting quarterback at the 702.
It's really hard not to. I mean, you tell yourself a story. Every draft you do, you tell a story. Patrick Mahomes in your head. He returns to that Patrick Mahomes that everybody loved and was drafting as the number one quarterback. Is it in the range of possibilities? I think it is. I mean, we could say whatever we want about guys around him, but to me, I love stacking. So stacking is something that I go by. So when you're drafting Patrick Mahomes, you have the option to get a bunch of his guys. Yeah, I know Rashee Rice is expensive. Xavier Worthy's not. Travis Kelce's not, all things considered. You can pretty much move things around to get all those guys. Mahomes by himself, to me, is just a flawed system when it comes to trying to win a tournament. And I've been very outspoken on the show that we did on Wednesday with Brian Drake. I said anybody, and basketball's different, I get it. But if you're going to go Mahomes and you're trying to win a tournament, you got to put him with somebody. Because let's just say Mahomes gets there. How is he getting there that's going to offset the Daniels, the Jacksons, the Allens, the Justin Fields, the random quarterbacks that go nuts, Joe Burrows, Jalen Hurts? How is Mahomes going to get there? Yeah, he could get there with his legs, but the chances are a lot smaller than those guys I just mentioned outside of Burrow. So it's if Mahomes has that 300-plus yard game and 3 TDs, you want to have a Worthy. You want to have a Rice. If it's a Kelsey game, to me, it's just I know I live by stacking, and people criticize me for that because I always bring it up. But 7th round Mahomes, I love, but you could mix in one of those guys and cheat the Kelseys, the Worthies, and still have that chance at the ceiling that can get you to that top when it comes to a Gorilla Championship.
So, Terp, you're bringing up a lot of good points here. My rebuttal to this, and not necessarily because I disagree with you, but couldn't you get a Worthy Mahomes stack? Okay, and if 100%. Worthy misses and you still get Mahomes, is there value in getting even in the big Gorilla tournament, which we're covering tonight? If you're down on Kelsey, isn't there value in a Mahomes Noah Gray stack later on? Is there value 100%. In a Mahomes Hollywood Brown stack? And I know
you can build it 100 different ways, and at the end of the day, as long as it gets there, when it comes to some of these quarterbacks, I've been very outspoken with Joe Burrow. If you're drafting Joe Burrow by himself, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, good luck.
It'll never make any sense to me because if you're trying to win $1 million, if you're trying to win your league, hey, you can get there in any way possible. But if you're trying to win $1 million and you have 1 entry or 100 entries, drafting a guy like Joe Burrow by himself makes no sense to me because if he gets there, it's going to be because of T. Higgins or Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Dizzle pointing out, too, that Mahomes has not had all the weapons together at once until this year. He's now an 8th-round quarterback. And I will say this, too. Mahomes, the last 2 years, has finished as quarterback 11 and quarterback 12. Before that, every single year as a starter, he was quarterback 6 or higher. And this is without running because he's never been a big runner. The
Chiefs are they don't have to unleash the passing game because everything always falls in their place. That's the hard part with the Chiefs.
Okay, Terp, this is lazy analysis, but let me bring this up. How many games did the Chiefs win last year by 3 or 4 points, by 1 score? It was insane. And they went undefeated until there's 1 or 2 games later on in the season.
Yeah.
So my lazy analysis on this, just normal regression of the mean, I feel they're not going to win those games, and that could cause more passing for Mahomes to Worthy, to Rice, to Kelsey, to Gray, to Hollywood Brown, to Pacheco, to Rashard Smith, to all these different guys. And we could see that narrative playing out. But like you said, it's all about telling yourself a story.
100%.
All right. Here's what I want to do. The Chiefs, we have had a wild ride with the Kansas City Chiefs tonight. And I'm sure that the the conversation is not over with yet, but I want to continue the conversation with our next guest. He is drafting out of the 5 spot tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. He's been on this show before. He is the owner of the Fantasy Sopranos franchise, drafting at the 5 spot tonight. Steve G, Steven Irgalos. Steve, welcome into the show. So glad to have you on, man. How do you like your team through 12 rounds?
What team are you, real quick? Because I got to stop out. I got to jump out and get my son real quick.
No,
what team are you?
Hop out. He's team 5.
I'm going to hop out, but I want to know his team first.
Okay, team 5. That's what we're talking about, Terp. I'll let you get your son. And Steve and I will take care of this here. Steve, welcome in. You are fresh off a Prescott, Strange, Roshan Johnson picks here in 10, 11, and 12. Talk about the team as a whole as you navigate through round 13.
So I forgot that I had registered for a main event. So in the first 5 rounds, I was drafted a main event also. So I was going back and forth on both of these. But I went a little different. I have a lot of teams, so I kind of went a little different than my usual drafts. So I tried to diversify. Let me take this pick here. Let's
Steve is on the clock right now. This is round 13.
Let's see which way we're gonna go here. Let's see.
He has already got Prescott at quarterback. He's got Strange at tight end, loaded up on receivers early on with Rice, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Pickens, and Olave. No shortage of running backs on this team, too, as he went with Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, Etienne, Javonte Williams, Charbonnet, and, of course, Roshan Johnson in the 12th. He is on the clock here in the 13th round. Again, could go any which way, even quarterback here, Steve. What are you looking at here?
I'm torn between Drake May or maybe taking Brashard Smith. I'm kind of in between. I might go with the running back because I have another quarterback I might grab later. So I think I'm trying to catch up. I took Gibbs, which I don't have a lot of. So I'm trying to move guys I don't have much of. Rashee Rice, I barely had any of. So I took him in the second round because, I'm hearing that he's pretty healthy and he was really good last year. So.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Rice pick and the 208. He is getting expensive, but when you consider what he did in 2024 while he was healthy, I mean, the sky's the limit. And if he was on pace for a 1,500 plus yard season receiving wise for Kansas City, and I see no reason why he can't have the ceiling of that again in this year. But I think what's interesting here, you could have gone any which way because you were balanced after rounds 1 and 2. You had Gibbs and Rice, but you pounded the receivers in rounds 3 through 6. Do you see a value in that position in those in that specific area of big gorilla drafts right now, Steve?
So Garrett Wilson might start being one of my most drafted players. I think the other night I took him in the best ball. I just have a lot of him. I think he's going to have a lot of work. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of targets. So I figured let me build that way. And Jameson Williams I took in the 4th, which I might have reached a little bit on. But there's a non-zero chance, as you say, that offense changed a little bit and he breaks out. He already started breaking out last year, not on volume, but just on pure yards per catch. So I'm into Williams. Pickens, I was planning on trying to grab Dak later, maybe put that little hook up together. And Olave, he's a crapshoot. If he doesn't get hurt, if he doesn't get another concussion, I'm getting him in the 6th round. He should be going in. He's a 3rd round pick. He should be going a lot higher. So I took a little gamble on the wide receivers. I feel it drops off a little bit after that. And then I just took a couple of shots with Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams. I think they're both going to be the number 1s. And I took a shot with them. And Charbonnet, I just think Walker can't stay healthy. So if I'm going to take a shot at a cuff, that's my guy.
So there's a lot to unpack here. I took Pickens in the Scott Fish Bowl recently, and I'm like, that's more of a FOMO pick where I understand the ceiling that he has with Prescott, who I believe in this year. I believe in the Dallas passing offense. I think a lot of people just automatically assume it's going to be a heavy running attack with Schottenheimer. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's wheels up for Lamb, Prescott, and Pickens this year. And Olave is great too because he's your number 5 receiver. If he has to start, great, you love it because he's available. And if he's not, you still have Pickens, Whiskey Bill, Garrett Wilson, and Rice, which I love too. Let's focus. I want to focus my next question here on Travis Etienne. You think he's going to be the number 1 in Jacksonville? Does that mean you've been avoiding guys like Vishal Tootin, guys like Tank Bigsby, and that Etienne you think has fallen too far in big gorilla drafts?
Well, usually he goes in the 8th round. I reached a little on him too. But I've had a lot of Bashal Tootin, and now he kind of caught up to ATN, so I shifted a little bit to get ATN. My thoughts are he's gonna get the work. Tootin's might get the work also, but I just think that he might start off as the number one. I don't have any real Tank Bigsby shares, so I'm going between the two of them. I'm rolling the dice and hoping one of those guys hits. Javonte Williams, which I took next. I mean, that backfield, that we don't know what to make of that, but Javonte may be a guy that gets back to form this year. So I took a stab at him also.
Are you so just kind of piggybacking on that? Are you more likely to take Javonte Williams at cost over Jaden Blue at cost?
I took a lot of Jaden Blue early, when he was going a lot later. Pre-draft, I took a lot of Jaden Blue. I was getting him in the 15th, 16th, 17th rounds. I don't even remember. I've kind of backed off of Blue a little bit. I don't think I've taken him in one main event yet. So I'm kind of took Javonte a little bit now. I'm just kind of balancing back and forth because I have so many teams. I have to try to balance my exposure.
Right.
So I was on Mojo today, and I'm like, wow. I'm a little unbalanced on certain things. So I'm trying to, that's why I took Rashee Rice in the 2nd round, obviously. But not for me, obvious, because I needed him. I didn't have really any shares of him. And I wasn't really crazy about McConkey. Not that I don't like him. I just think that in the 2nd round, I think the price is too high. So I figured, I was hoping that Nico Collins was going to drop to the next pick. I would have taken Nico Collins maybe, but didn't work out that way.
The last thing I want to say is you waited on, I shouldn't say the last thing. I'll have one more question for you. You waited on tight end until round 11 here in getting Brenton Strange. Have you, because I know you draft a lot of leagues, FFPC, KFFSC, have you historically been waiting on tight end this year? Because Strange was the 16th tight end off their board, and he's your number one tight end as of right now.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, if I can get Bowers or McBride in the right spot, maybe I like TJ Hawkinson. I took quite a bit of him. After that, the board was going a different way. I wanted to take Tyler Warren. He got taken. So I think Brenton Strange is going to actually, I don't know what to make of Travis Hunter, but I mean, he has a lot of draft capital. I think it was his 2nd round pick. I like these Penn State tight ends. So I was waiting on Brenton Strange. And, so I'm going to try to piece together a couple more tight ends here because it is tight end premium and I really haven't done much. So let's hope a couple of guys I want drop to me. You're not in the draft, so I might be okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if history's any guide, with our experience in KFFSC this year, I have a feeling I know which one of those tight ends you're focusing on. You've gotten them in every single league that you and I have been in together.
I got to tell you, I was looking at Mojo today. I'm like, wow, I have a lot of this guy. And sometimes that's good. If it actually comes through, I mean, I look like a genius.
Right.
But I will say, you're gonna give me a little bit of credit. Oh, I'm just gonna take him now anyway because I need a tight end. But
Theo Johnson is who we're talking about. Yeah.
You're gonna give me a little bit of credit with Cedric Tillman because now all the pundits out there, all the pros are all on Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
Value. So Tillman, I think, hopefully he stays healthy because he's had, some injury problems in the past. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he stays healthy. Him and Theo Johnson could, win me $5,000 out of all my investments,
It's there's a non-zero chance of it. And I look forward to seeing that happen. Steve, I can't wait to see the prototypes that you have come through with the High Stakes Fantasy Football.
It's going in the mail tomorrow. So
perfect. I love it. So Steve has put together some High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour t-shirts featuring myself and Farrell on them. And I can't wait to see them. We may or may not have them live in Las Vegas for HSFF listeners out there as well. We'll see how that happens. And Steve, the other thing I have to ask you, and I've never asked you this on air, and you've been very polite when I've talked to you about this, both on and off air. The Dizzle wants to know, why do I not pronounce the G in your first name? Am I pronouncing your last name right? Is it Hirgalos?
If you were Greek, in Greek, it's correct. It's like a Y. Okay. So, I know you're not Greek, but the Greeks pronounce it as a Y. So. Tell Terp when he comes back, because the other night I was doing the live draft, and we were talking about Cardi B. Tell him when he comes to New York, I'm gonna have Cardi B come out of retirement of being a stripper and give him a lap dance. Okay?
Oh my God! This is
Tell him. I mean, he got off air. The only reason I dialed in was to mess with him, but it's okay. I had a good conversation.
All right, walk off here right now. Steve, you're on the clock here at the 15:05. Who's the pick here after Theo Johnson?
I'm gonna take another dart throw here. Here's the dart throw.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I love it, man. It's all upside here. Trying to win $1 million. That's the type of player that will do it. So good to talk to you once again.
Appreciate it.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. And we'll see you soon, man. For sure in Vegas, if not Louisville.
Louisville, I can't. I'm having my first child. She's coming.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. But
Vegas, I'm ready to rock. I'll see you over there.
Congratulations on the upcoming birth, and we'll see you at Paris and Las Vegas, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, brother. Be good, guys.
Will do. That's Steve Regalos hanging out with us tonight. Steve G, the Fantasy Sopranos owner tonight, taking Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And I alluded to this earlier. Steve and I have been in a ton of KFFSC drafts, and I know he likes Theo Johnson. I like Theo Johnson. The reason that I have not gotten enough Theo Johnson is because Steve keeps staking him on me, which happens. It's cool. It's fine. I just got to be better at it going forward. Speaking of getting better at it, let's bring on yet another guest tonight. In fact, two of them tonight. They are drafting tonight from the, let's see, what spot would this be? The 11 spot? Yeah, the 11 spot tonight. KN Key BG1. We are bringing on one David Krupski and one Ken Hillenbrand. Guys, welcome into the program tonight. I know you're about to come on the clock here, but just through 14 rounds, how do you like your squad?
We got sauce here late.
Well, listen, it's Friday night. It happens. You're about to be on the clock here. But I think the build is interesting. You guys got to like the build here too.
Is he talking to us?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Dave and Ken, you are live on YouTube right now.
11.
You're at the 11, right? Aren't you at the 11?
We're at the 6.
We're at the 6.
Oh, at this. Oh God, I'm so sorry. This is my God. I'm sorry. This is AJ. This is AJ Petco. This is my bad. This is. I just saw the two guys. AJ, who is drafting with you tonight?
This is Paul Lankowski. You probably know his dad. He's had some success in some of these leagues.
Okay, perfect. I am so sorry. I get when Terp's not on with me, everything goes to pot. Okay, you're at the 6th spot tonight. You waited on tight end until the 6th. You waited on quarterback until the 13. You've doubled up on tight end. You've loaded up on receiver to start. There's obviously a good running back stable here. Guys, AJ, take me through this, how you feel about your team here at 6.
Yeah, I mean, we really liked the start. I think we didn't plan to start all wide receiver, but just I think kind of getting some value there, and then just kind of from there needing to get some green on the board, and then some quarterbacks went that we were looking at, and just kind of playing it and filling the board from there.
Was the plan? I mean, did you guys, because you knew obviously you were drafting 6 several days beforehand. Did you guys feel like, hey, this could be a heavy wide receiver build initially?
Originally we didn't. We thought we were going to end up with either Gibbs or Barkley. And then, honestly, one thing we were talking about today was we were pick, 19? And we loved 18 guys, as it usually is. There's one, the perfect amount go right before you. And I think it was Hudson's A.J. Brown pick that gave us Nico. Not that we don't like A.J. Brown. It's just we love those 18 guys. So we like that there. And then we were just praying for Tyreek back. If he didn't get back to us, I got to be honest, Balky, we didn't know what we were going to do. But other than that, yeah, I mean, something really weird. We weren't really expecting Travion. Like, we never really talked about him, but we were kind of just thinking upside there. With 4 pretty solid wideouts there, and then kind of build it after Montgomery with such a stable back. So. Okay,
so this is interesting because I have so many follow-ups to this. You were praying for Tyreek Hill to come back to you in the 3rd round. I know that he's been kind of a schizophrenic pick in the FFPC Big Gorilla and the FFPC main event here over the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. Why are you guys team Tyreek Hill this year?
Yeah.
Well, I'm very pro on. I mean, I love Tyreek. I just think people don't notice. And AJ and I, we were owners of A-Chain and a lot of Waddle last year, and we felt the Tyler Huntley for 8 weeks, and we understand that people got to look past that. And I think Tyreek, I think I looked it up. I think he averaged like 16 with Tua last year. So I think people are just forgetting how good he really is. And think about it, Bulky. He was wideout 2 2022 and then wideout 3 in 2023.
You are up next.
If he has a full season with Tua, I think he should be a first round pick.
Scoops on Beverly coming up. I'll take a pause here from asking about your team. You guys are on the clock here at the 16:07. Pretty well balanced all the way around. What are you guys thinking here?
Man, that's a great question.
I think we're just looking at, kind of best available, can kind of really go in any direction here if anyone kind of sticks out.
And I got to be honest, no one's really sticking out.
Well, that's the thing. I mean now
we might ask for your advice here.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know who you're considering, but you're talking about the 16th round. You're trying to win $1 million, thousands of teams you're competing against. I would look at the guy that you like that has the upside of being a potential league winner here. He's probably not going to be a league winner, but you have to look at league winners at this point in the draft because let's face it, we're in the 16th round. A lot of these players for the rest of the way are going to be roster churn throughout the season.
Well,
and it's Darren Waller.
Yep. I think your upside league winner just got me there. In my opinion, I don't see Freiermuth. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, who knows? We have Hill, so you never know. But I think, the names on the board, like a Freiermuth, Jawan Johnson, they're not going to really get you anything where we were deciding between Chig. And if going back to earlier in our draft here, and you were on with Hudson, he stole Tyler Warren from us, Bulky. We were screaming, Hudson, don't take him. So we kind of we kind of just fell into Jordan Mason just because we needed the back. So we're kind of scrambling here on tight end, but we like the upside of Chig, and then you never know with Waller. So
he came out of retirement really quick.
Yeah, he did. And he said he'd only play for the Dolphins. Take that for what it's worth. I don't know. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys. Yes. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, DK Metcalf at the 407. I have heard from plenty of pundits out there that Metcalf is not the type of receiver that Aaron Rodgers likes to throw to. Metcalf is more of an improvising route runner where Rodgers requires precision. You guys are still believers in Metcalf on the Steelers offense with Rodgers throwing to him. Can you sell me and sell the viewers on DK Metcalf as a guy that you want to look at in the 4th round of Big Gorilla drafts?
Yeah, absolutely. We're from Pittsburgh, so we're a little read into the DK. And I had Garrett Wilson last year as well, so I'm familiar with Rodgers as the quarterback and how DK is not his stereotypical, wide receiver with the separation. But I just personally think that, they did just get Jonnu Smith, but they're still, I think, it's like a Calvin Austin's going to be your wide receiver 2 there. So I think there's a pretty clear path to volume. And then Paul was giving me some pushback today about, does Arthur Smith agree that there's a clear path to volume there? And I said, I mean, you didn't pay DK Metcalf $132 million, in that extension to come here and run block, in my opinion. And I think this is Rodgers. He says his last hurrah here. I think he's going to get his $132 million receiver the ball. And I told Paul my hot take is I don't think,
up next.
There's a good chance that if the Steelers offense is efficient enough, which who knows, but if they are, DK Metcalf, I think could lead, the league in red zone targets. I think him and London are kind of going to be comparable guys in that, red zone. Cause I think London was an absolute beast in the red zone target wise last year. And I kind of see DK in that similar light.
You guys are on the clock here in the 17th round. Final walk-off question. Guys, AJ, Paul, who's it going to be here?
I think we're going to go to the hometown Pittsburgh Steelers defense here, Bulky.
I thought you were going to say Boswell. I'm glad to hear it was the Steelers defense. That's excellent. So Pittsburgh.
Hey, we'll see. We might end up with Boswell. We don't want to tell her. We don't want to tell our other league mates that though.
That's the best player on the Steelers offense.
Guys, I'll let you know. Neil O'Donnell, Lima Swede, still available in this draft too, if you want to go that route. But whatever it is. Thank you so much for hopping aboard tonight. I'm so sorry I misidentified you. I'm spinning way too many plates here. AJ and Paul, thank you so much for hopping aboard tonight. This was a treat. Good luck in the rest of this draft and good luck in drafting season as well. Thanks so much for being a part of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour this evening.
No, thank you, Balky.
Awesome.
You do a
Thank
great
you.
job. We watch them all the time.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Scoops on Beverly, baby. It is AJ and Paul hanging out with us here tonight as I bring Terp back in tonight. Terp is your son.
I leave for a couple minutes and you start butchering things.
I know. It was terrible. It was absolutely awful.
My son is back asleep. It was
Good.
a frantic run down the steps and get his bottle real quick, but he's back to sleep.
Just real quick. I mean, we were just talking with AJ and Paul here with this Darren Waller pick. I picked him in a best ball draft late. I listen, I would not call him a league winner. Is there value in Waller with that Dolphins offense this year with no Jonnu Smith?
I don't think so personally, but where he's being drafted, it's worth a shot, especially in a big gorilla draft, because let's just say the hamstrings don't hold up and everything goes a little haywire. You can just cut the guy. I mean, and in best ball, it's a little bit more dangerous because you could easily see a path where, it just doesn't work out for him. He goes back in the rep game. So
right. Yes.
It's just, he's a guy that I'll hop a little bit of, but I don't think it'll be a lot. But where he's being drafted in these big gorilla drafts, why not? Why not take a shot?
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask you, as long as we're talking about Dolphins, you made a bold claim on Wednesday night, and maybe not so bold for a lot of FFPC players that were I'm sure we're with you on this, but you and Aiden LaCory and Brian Drake covering an FFPC best ball tournament draft, you said you would take Devon Achane over Jahmyr Gibbs this year. And I have heard, I wouldn't say a groundswell, but I've been listening to, Pat Kerrane, Scott Barrett, and some of these other guys that are kind of warming up to Achane this year, despite sort of the Dolphins offense. I think most of us believe moving in the opposite direction. Why are you pro Achane this year? And talk about sort of the Dolphins offense in general. We just talked about Darren Waller being picked. We haven't talked about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle getting drafted tonight either.
Let's just look at the obvious. Tua is the quarterback. He's going to get a ton of targets. Jonnu Smith not being there, he's going to get a ton of targets. It's just Waddle and it's just Hill. Like, it's hard not to like Achane and see. We obviously seen the Achane ceiling. We've seen, in a bigger scale what he could really do. He's a 40-point week upside. How many guys have that upside? Ashton Genty, does he have a 40-point week upside? I don't think so. The receivers that are being drafted right around him, I don't think so. Devon Achane's a guy that you're getting drafted at the end of the first round. I think he's going to start moving up a little bit. To me, if I'm drafting him right after CD Lamb, like literally right after there. I think that's as high as he should go. I'm taking him over Jahmyr Gibbs, not because I don't like Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs as a player, but you have Dave Montgomery, you have the new offensive coordinator. There's a lot of questions more with Gibbs than to me there are with Achane. Achane's guaranteed to get there. If Tua's a quarterback, even if he's not the quarterback, I think he's going to be fine. But if Tua's a quarterback, he's going to get a ton of targets. And the game-breaking ability that he still has, to me, there's not many guys you can say have like overall number one upside. To me, Achane has that. He's one of my favorite picks. I just love him at the end of the first round. End of the first round. It's a real nice spot to be this year, in my opinion.
So Tom Smith, who is the Yum Yums franchise drafting at the 12th spot tonight, a resident Dolphins fan, he said he led running backs in receptions last year with 78. We also have seen the Dizzle pipe in with Achane, his upside, maybe not seeing the total ceiling. 2023 and 2024 scoring for Achane was different his scoring was different for different reasons. If it happens, if it all hits, he could be peak CMC.
Everything's an if. Everything's a story that you tell yourself.
Right.
Everybody's telling the story with Christian McCaffrey this year. Let's just call it what it is. He was an early big gorilla draft. You were getting him in the second round. Now you're not sniffing him in the second round. Maybe one draft out of every 50. He's a first round locked in pick, but everybody's telling the story about the upside that he possesses. Obviously, when he was dominating fantasy football, and to me, Achane has that ability to have that, ceiling that Christian McCaffrey does. So I don't know. I'm just really, really bullish on Achane. It's hard to be bullish on a guy who's in the first or second round, but he's just a guy that I've loved since he came out, drafted a ton of him all the years, and just it's not going to stop this year.
David Krupski, who I can guarantee you is drafting from the 11 spot tonight, which I screwed up before, along with Ken Hillenbrand. Devon Achan on YouTube, he's telling us this. Devon Achan averaged almost 7 targets a game with Tua Tagovailoa and less than 2 without Tua Tagovailoa, which is weird, Turt, because you would think like Tagovailoa, well, maybe it's not that weird because they want to they put the focus on again this year, getting the ball out of Tagovailoa's hand as soon as possible. A stat that I believe he led the league in last year with qualified pass attempts, and now they want to get it out even sooner. To me, and the fact that Jonnu Smith is now in Pittsburgh, this is like wheels up for Achan. So I don't know if I'm on board with you, Achan better than Gibbs, but I will say this. If Achan finishes better than Gibbs this year, would not surprise me in the least.
No, it's not like there's a lot of crazy takes that are out there on I don't think it's crazy. I mean, you're talking about a first and a turn pick. I mean, a guy who's going in the first, early second round. It's not like it's like I'm saying like that, Devin Neal's going to finish better than Jahmyr Gibbs. Like that's just like certifiably nuts. But it's just a take that I'm pretty excited on. And a lot of people are saying like how many teams have Gibbs and Achane. You can't get that anymore. You could get that early if you're in the drafting period.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think that possibility is happening anymore to where you can get both of those guys. And if you can, you better be real excited because I haven't seen in the last couple of drafts I've done Achane get past the second round, the second round, second pick. He's pretty much locked into that, like turn 1 or 2 picks after, and that's probably it. If you drafted early, you probably got a little lucky when it comes to Gibbs, Achane starts, or maybe, McCaffrey Achane or Lamb Achane, things like that. But I think those days are over, especially because Johnny Smith's out of town. It's just more targets, for Achane.
Demetrios Geekis, who is drafting tonight from the 8th spot, said, what pick do you have to get both Gibbs and Achane? And like earlier in the season, I don't know, like late first round, mid first round, I think you could have done it. You can't anymore, obviously. Which, and maybe that'll change. I mean, this is why we encourage everybody to draft early and draft often because the ADP shifts and you can find values whether you're drafting in February, March, April, May,
There's
June,
pockets
July,
no matter what. There's certain guys
Exactly.
that are going to get like right now. There's a pocket for a guy like JSN. JSN's a guy that like people were really like, oh, he's a 3rd round pick. He's an early 3rd round pick. Now he's starting to slip to the 4th to where he's being a little bit more appetizing. RJ Harvey's another guy early on getting hyped up before J.K. Dobbins, 4th round, 3rd round in some drafts. Now he's like moving to the 5th and 6th, which is really, really fun to draft. It makes a ton of sense to get him there. There's a ton of guys that are like just fall in those pockets that like if you're fans of those guys, you should be drafting a ton of teams right now.
So Dizzle pointing out that there's 14 total teams in the Big Gorilla so far with both Jahmyr Gibbs and Devon Achane.
And most of them are probably really, really early.
Probably early, yeah. Now, will that hold up? I don't know. You certainly like it right now. Will you like it in October? Will you like it in November? Maybe not. You never know. Terp, I want to bring in one more guest here tonight. And I am 100% officially sure that I'm bringing in the right guest for the KNK BG1 franchise. He is the one, the only. He is the David Krupski, who is drafting out of the 11 hole tonight. David, welcome in. You are coming up on your final pick of the draft. I'll let you make it right now. This is obviously going to be a kicker.
Don't mess that kicker up.
Yeah, give us the kicker.
Wait all night to make that moment.
Give us the kicker.
I was actually hoping to take it in like round 10, but I figured you guys would make fun of me about it.
I would have.
We had a couple of years ago in the FFPC main event, we had a guy who wanted to draft in the main and didn't have the cash, but he had Seinfeld tickets to see Jerry Seinfeld at Caesar's Palace. And he said, could I trade these in for a main event entry? And we said, sure. And then so Alex Kaganovsky, our co-founder of the FFPC, announced to everybody who was drafting that night. I said, okay, whoever drafts the first kicker of all, I don't know how many, we had 20 some live drafts going on at that time. So whoever drafts the first kicker gets these first Seinfeld tickets. And lo and behold, somebody drafted Justin Tucker in like the 9th or 10th round that night, just so he could see Jerry Seinfeld at Caesar's Palace.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I don't know if he ever has, but I'm just saying, like, he did that night, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't know if his team won anything, but that could not be the case for David Krupski's team tonight. David, you obviously like your team from the 11 spot. Can you tell us how you thought it was going to turn out to how it actually did turn out? What were your expectations, and what was the end result here?
Sure. So actually, my buddy Kenny, he and I we were FaceTiming earlier, and we met earlier today to kind of go through and game plan. And we really liked HN, we liked Thomas, we liked Puka. We were kind of seeing like who was going to fall to us. And actually, when CMC didn't go at 10, we were thinking, like, is he going to be there? Can we pass on him? That would have been hard. So then, honestly, then it went HN, and then Kenny really wanted Thomas, but obviously when he went with Yum Yums. Then we saw Janty sitting there, like that was not someone we were even really considering, but we felt that we just couldn't steer away from that. And then when it came back, we did want Evans, and we took the risk of taking Lamar versus Evans, and it's the way sometimes it works out. But we were hoping that maybe Evans would fall back to us, but we took JSN. So we weren't really planning necessarily on one particular strategy, right? When you're at the back end of the board, you kind of just take what's given to you, and then you start to play it forward. And pairing up Lamar with Zay was nice. It fell to us, and now we have the hookup going forward. And not always looking for that in managed leagues, but for this case, we like that it fell to us.
And the other thing with Lamar Jackson, you get Isaiah Likely a little bit later too. So if anything happens to Andrews or what have you, you have the Likely Zay Flowers Lamar Jackson pairing, or not pairing, but trio, whatever that is. Can you talk a little bit about the Pearsall pick? And I have to look at this. Was Juwan Jennings? Where did he go tonight? Was that ever a consideration for you, Pearsall versus Jennings at all?
Yeah, I mean Jennings. I was looking at the board right now. He went 7.1. So I mean, obviously he went a little bit earlier. We actually were kind of leaning towards Myers if he'd have fell to us, and obviously would have given us one more week 8 bye. But it's fine, right? Well, we'd manage it when we get to it. We were having a discussion of like Pearsall, Debo, and Shakir. Those are kind of the three. And we just felt that Pearsall really showed a little bit down the stretch last year. Yes, there's obviously a risk that it was more of a flash in the pan and he's not really providing enough, evidence to say that he can continue that. But Ayuk's probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. And so you got Pearsall. I mean, I think Kittle's a great pick too, for anybody that takes him. But we just felt like, hey, here's a young kid who's probably got some upside. And, at this point, we're taking some shots.
So final question here for you tonight, David, as we wrap up our coverage. When you look over all 20 picks of your draft tonight, tell us which pick was your favorite and why was it Evan McPherson in the 20th?
Well, I mean, I do like McPherson in the 20th. I love it. To be honest, I really like the HM pick, and I know that you guys were talking about before I jumped in. And this is something that Kenny and I were talking today when we met, was that the upside there, especially with John Nunnell gone, there's a lot of question marks with Waddle. With Tua out, we know that the McDaniel offense just really struggled, and so someone's got to pick up the slack. Hill is going to run, in a straight line, probably faster than all three of us until he's 80. But is he really still that top tier wide receiver? And so someone has to catch balls, and it's going to be HN. So that's why we really like that one. And then, Janty falling to us obviously was a nice little bonus, but really I think Dave on HN was kind of my favorite pick tonight.
David, we certainly appreciate you hopping aboard tonight. Drafting out of the 11th spot for $1 million grand prize. I like the draft. I think you highlighted some of my favorite picks already from your squad tonight from the 11th spot. Give my best to Ken. And good luck, man, this season, not only in this draft, but the rest of drafting season as well. A pleasure to have you aboard tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You got it. That is David Krupski drafting for the KNK BG1 team out of the 11 hole tonight. And Terp, it was a fast draft tonight. Sometimes these big gorillas happen that way.
Speed. I mean,
they're a little over an hour. Sometimes they last the better part of 2 hours. You just never know. But it was a fun draft tonight. Final thoughts as we close out. Doesn't have to be about this draft, but just fantasy in general. I know you've been doing a lot of live draft coverage over the last couple of months with the FFPC. When you think about everything you saw tonight and over the course of the last 2 months, what's something that the listeners and viewers should know?
Every draft's different. You look at these managed leagues, I saw something in the chat, taking 3 QBs, not something I'd recommend. It just, I understand wasting picks and you look at a 20th round Tua pick or with Stroud in May. It's so tough when you have to click the button. In best ball, totally understand it. You're never going to have that opportunity. But, when are you ever going to click one of those? Like, it's just so hard to do that in a managed league. Like, and you're tying up roster spots. You want that handcuff running back that in the 20th round upside receiver or tight end, like a Benson Knott or or Rondé Gadsden. Obviously, where they're going isn't really relevant, but like guys that have a little bit more upside because they can give you that league winning type of profile. When it comes to these 3 quarterback builds, like he was on the show. I think they had a really good draft, but to me, I would have just stopped after Stroud and then just took in somebody with high upside and never take 2 defenses. Please stop it.
Yeah, I'm not on board with the 2 defenses when you're drafting.
You wasted 2 roster positions in a league that's very, very, because let's call it what it is. Free agency is extremely difficult. You are not like we see all these articles that come around on like all these guys are available on free agency. Guess what? In the FFPC, they're not available. Yeah. They're all drafted, every single one of them. So you're holding up roster spots with Tua and a backup defense. It's like
I will say this, Terp, and I'm not saying that this holds true with Scoops on Beverly's squad here, but I will say it is much easier to cut a second defense or a third quarterback than sometimes a 7th running back or an 8th wide receiver. So when you look at this from this standpoint, the first waivers are going to go through a week before the season starts or whatever. Maybe some of these guys look really unappealing and it's easy to cut them. Whereas if you draft a deep team, sometimes it's not easy to cut. I'm not saying that that's normal. That's prevalent.
But I think if you were drafting a team, you'd rather have Sean Tucker over Tua.
I would prefer the shot in the dark type guys. Yes, you're right.
Rashad Smith over Tua, guys like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But to each their own, because I've never 100%. Won $1 million in this contest, and you never know what's going to happen. Terp, thank you so much for one day. Exactly. We'll be counting down the days till Dave Terpoilli is FFPC.
It will be a celebration. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's going to be great. In fact, I will fly to Philadelphia for that as well.
Oh, man.
I can't wait for that.
We'll get you some Eagles gear and get you on a real team.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that 100%. Get that Ron Jaworski jersey lined up for me.
A little Reggie White for you.
Reggie White. Yeah, I'm down with that as well. Terp, we will see you on Wednesday, right? On live draft coverage for the FFPC.
I'll be here. Theo will be on the show.
Yeah, Theo Greminger.
9:00 Eastern time.
And that's that's Big Gorilla. Okay, so that's a Big Gorilla draft. Yeah. You, Aiden LaCorey, and of course the OG Fantasy on X. Theo Greminger from Fantasy Points going to be hopping on with live coverage. That is coming up on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. You said
9:00. Yep,
9:00. Okay, perfect. Terp, we will continue to follow you on the X at Dave Terp. Thank you so much for hopping aboard with me tonight. Be good and enjoy your weekend, dude.
See you guys.
That is Dave Terpoilli, ladies and gentlemen. So good to have him on tonight as we had a great evening of drafts or of drafting tonight. I want to thank Bob and Hudson Hogan, Mike Melberg, Steve Gergalos, AJ Petco. We had David Krupski on, Dave Terpoilli, of course, the FFPC, Rob Bryce, and of course, each and every one of you. We will be back next Friday on the HSFF Hour, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it. Farrell Elliott will be back. In case you missed last night's Thursday night's Insider Access show, we had on the Better Sports Network with Goat District's draft room baller, John Daniel, JD, joined me for 2 full hours. That was great. Check that out on the FFPC and BSN socials in case you missed it. Big Gorilla Tournament, FFPC main event, FFPC Best Ball Tournament, and Superflex Best Ball Tournament available at myffpc.com, as well as FFPC Dynasty Leagues, 2,000 plus leagues in 15 years. None have ever folded. Thanks so much for participating, for joining, for playing, and liking this video, commenting on this video, sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your enemies, and getting notified each and every time we go live. Again, next week, you're looking at Theo Greminger, Dave Terpoilli, and Aiden LaCorey on Best Ball Draft coverage on Wednesday. Thursday, Insider Access show with myself and Fantasy Football Consistency Guide, and of course the Fantasy Football what do they call it in Canton every year? Bob Lung, the guy who founded the get together every year that everybody flocks to in Canton. He's going to talk a little bit about that, the conference that goes on in Canton every year, which is massive at this point. Bob is going to join us from 7 to 9 Eastern on Thursday. And then, of course, we'll have a live HSFF Hour on Friday. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate each and every one of you for watching, listening, downloading, streaming. Your weekend officially starts now.
This has been another episode of the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour presented by myffpc.com. It was broadcast live and was watched around the world. Balky and Farrell will be back next week with more analysis, more interviews, and more advice from guests much smarter than they are. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk with you again next week.
I'm so sorry for screwing this up. It's the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, which is happening this year, August 8th through 10th. If you want more details on how to join, how to be part of it, we will have all that on Insider Access on Thursday night. HSFF Hour resumes Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Be good to everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for enjoying this draft tonight. I had a blast. Hope you did too. We'll talk with you again real soon.